What is going on, you guys? It is Rick with Rick's Toy Room. It is late, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and get this video done because it was a crazy day at Spookala. I'll be honest, I absolutely misjudged and I just misjudged. I thought for sure that this convention was going to be a in and out, hit it and quit it, Lakeland style show. It was not. So let's talk about the convention as a whole real quick. So layout of the convention, fairly small, and I'll be honest, I don't remember last year's convention because I was there for about 25 minutes. I'll tag Hope in this and link Hope's YouTube channel down below so you guys can check out Hope. And that's how I met her, was through the Spookala last year in October, because I actually forgot that I promised Hope to Dream that I was going to help volunteer at the fundraising event, and I also just bought the tickets and photo op with Danny Trejo. And you guys have heard that story. I've talked about it before when I actually had when I got the photo back from Hope and shared it here. So I didn't get a really good lay of the land for the show last year. Hey, you be quiet. Yeah, I'm talking to you. So I walk in, and the show floor is actually not big at all. Now, interesting fact, I was talking to one of the guys in line while we were waiting for yeah, it'll come to me. So anyhow, the way they have Spookala set up is you walk in through the fairground entrance, you pay your ticket at the door, or you show them the QR code, they give you your wristband, you walk in, and when you walk right in, you've got all the celebrities like right there next to you. Like the celebrity row is right in the area that you walk in on. And I'm gonna sidetrack here for a second. The celebrity aisle was set up way better than Tampa Bay Comic-Con. Immensely better. Like, ton of room to walk from the entrance through celebrity row and to get all the celebrities. And they crammed a lot of celebrities in. So you got the left side is just all celebrity row. You get towards the back of the left side, you can hit the merch, you can start hitting the merch vendor tables. And then right in the center of the merch vendor tables is the stage. And they have like live performances, and that's where they also do all the panels. Like, they don't have separate rooms for the panels, so they bring everybody up onto a stage. They got the two giant screens that are broadcasting the panel like throughout the entire convention floor, and you can see it from pretty much all the convention floor, which was cool. But then there's some audio issues, you couldn't hear it from the rest of the convention floor. So all the center was kind of like their food court area, and I don't really want to say food court. They basically had 2 vendors or 3 vendors set up to get drinks, so water, Powerade, beer. I had me a beer. And then they have the stage. Then they have all the like chairs for the stage, where they basically direct all the audio into the chairs, but then they have all the lunch tables around it. And then on the opposite side of that was like the photo op area. So they had it pre-staged with all the like all the different background settings for the photo ops, or where they just basically bring the celebrities up. You can just do your group photo and get the hell out. So the layout was solid considering how small the venue area was for the fairgrounds. Now, the fairgrounds is a huge actual venue, but they didn't use that much space for it. So I was kind of like taken back a little bit, because I thought for some reason it was way bigger last year. But again, like I said, I walked through, went to my spot, left, right? I just didn't spend a lot of time in it there last year. Vendor-wise, I will say the vendors were like very lackluster. It was really cool, though. I found a couple celebrities outside of Celebrity Row that I stopped, had them like complete meltdown at, and I was like, holy shit. Got some extra autographs, and yeah, so the vendor area was lackluster. A lot of your typical like craft fair type, like your dice, your earrings, your jewelry, your homemade jewelry, a lot of your tumblers. Then there were some really, really cool vendors that had like just really good like horror masks, like guys that had done mounted mask similar to like if you would mount a deer or an animal, but they had like Chucky and It and Scream, Ghostface, like really cool quality mask. A couple really good modelers, some makeup artists. So a couple really good ones, and then like just a handful of like fairly jankety ones. Couple guys selling their books, you know. One guy had a really good collection of like short story books that I was like, damn, I kind of want to read that. But then I was like, my Amazon Kindle's got like 30 books I haven't finished yet. So that was, you know, that was the vendors. I would say that this convention has become very commercialized when it comes to the celebrities they brought in. Now, granted, I mean, that's what got me there, right? So, a ton of celebrities and really good, some really good actors. A handful of voice actors. So, obviously, I did Chris Judge, which I don't have his photo with me, but I did do a photo. I did my steelbook, and then right after he signed it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do the selfie with him." I stuck my damn finger in where he wrote Kratos and up here. But the quote is, "Death can have me when it earns me." Kratos, Chris Judge. There's a quote from God of War Ragnarok. Really cool quote. Chris Judge is really cool. Man, that guy's voice is like, he definitely has like a kind of like does inflection with it to do Kratos, but the dude's voice is deep. And I mean, he's a big dude. Like, he was cool as shit, though. He was really cool to meet. Then, we're going to do, like, my non-Jurassic Park ones for a second. I did decide at the beginning of this to go and get Thomas Jane, because I was like, oh, his line was fairly short, should be moving very quick. He was the second autograph I got tonight, and I picked up Thomas Jane. I asked Thomas, like, I was like, and I always like to ask, like, what's, like, something weird, what's the weirdest thing someone had you autograph, or what's something that, like, kind of you were taken back by? And he either misheard what I said, or he was just, like, in his own world, but he's like, oh, dude, I love to sign weapons. And I looked at him, and I for whatever reason, was not expecting that answer. And I'm like, you know, if I'd have known that, I'd have brought my Glock in, but security might have been a little uptight about that. He's like, people bring in pieces all the time. He's like, you can bring pieces of a gun, you just can't bring in a fully functional gun. And I was like, dude. So I texted Dusty, and I was like, I could go to the car, take the damn Glock apart right now, field strip it, bring the slide in, and get my slide signed. But then I was like, the moment I do that, that Glock's out of commission. Like, I'm either going to have to buy another slide so that I can use the Glock, or I'm going to, you know, have just one of my Glocks out of commission. And considering it's one of my daily carries, like, I don't want to be down a Glock. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, I could go bring the slide in, and go field strip it, bring the slide in, you know, have him sign it, and then 3D print a lower, and just put it on display, and then I would have a 3D printed lower with the real slide top, and it would be a non-functional gun, because obviously I'd want to display it. More I thought about it, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, there's a reason I carry my Glock, there's a reason I want it. Like, I'm not field stripping it, I'm not going to bring in the slide, I'm not going to spend that much money today. Famous last words. So, I did not get my Glock slide signed by Thomas Jane, but he was kind of cool. But a lot of people felt kind of skiffed by him. They kind of like felt that he was just kind of like there. A couple guys tried to talk to him about Deep Blue Sea, and about there's a couple that came in dressed as the characters from Boogie Nights, and he was very unimpressed by most of them. Everyone that I talked to in the Jurassic Park lines that saw the photo, or, you know, had just come back from getting his autograph, because it was Thomas Jane, I forget, there's like one person between Thomas Jane and Mazzello, and then it was Ariana, and it was BD, and then a bunch of other people. And everybody that came in back to Mazzello's line was just like, wasn't impressed by the guy. He doesn't seem like a people person. I thought he was cool. The people that were in front of me talked to him for like a couple minutes. They seemed to have a good time. Like, I seen him interacting with people pretty well, so I guess it's just how you came at him. Like, he didn't want to talk about the he didn't want to talk about the normal, hey, loved you in this movie. I don't necessarily, disagree with that. So I thought the guy was fine. I didn't have any beef with him. It was kind of funny. He was vaping in the convention center, and no one really said squat or whatever to him. So then I went and got Ariana's autograph. Now, I got Ariana's autograph on my Jurassic Park 3D theatrical release poster. Joey hit me up yesterday, asked me if I would get him a photo. So he sent me some cash, and I got Ariana to sign this one because Joey can't seem to answer his text messages. But here is Ariana eating Jell-O in Jurassic Park when they're in the when they make it back to the visitor center. So got that for Joey. Got that all squared up. Left Ariana's line and was like, okay, I'm gonna get. Let's go do Mazzello's. I was like, BD Wong's line's pretty long. I originally came to see him. Like the other two Jurassic Park characters, Thomas Jane, they were not on the docket, right? Now, Judge was, and I was like, well, I'm already going for BD Wong. I might as well do Judge and get my God of War stuff signed. So, and I, by the way, tried to find a copy of God of War on the PS4. No, just couldn't find it. And I wasn't paying $70 for God of War Ragnarok on PS5 because not only have I already bought the Legendary Edition, I already beat the game, I already have it digitally downloaded. I just couldn't justify $70 on top of his autograph, which, by the way, we're going to go back to him for a minute. But, so I get done with Ariana, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to jump into Mazzello's line. We'll get him signed. And then I was like, well, shit. I've already got, I've already got Judge's autographs on the steelbooks, and I've already put my finger through one of them. I just got Thomas Jane's autograph. I still have the poster to do, and I have to pick up an extra photo. So this is before, by the way, I got Joey's Ariana. So I was like, no, I'm going to run to the car. I was like, let me get rid of some of this crap out of my hands because it's going to be easier to unroll the poster so I don't mess up the poster. It'll be easier to maneuver if I'm not carrying all this crap. So I went to the car, dropped it off, came back, saw Ariana, got Ariana's autographs, had her sign my Jurassic Park poster, went from Ariana's line over to Mazzello's, and when I got into Mazzello's, his line was at a dead stop. Now, there's a lot of stuff that happened between the time that I got Mazzello's autograph and what happened here. So, his line's at a dead stop. And basically, come to find out, he just... this is his first con. And he wanted to give everyone their time with him. And honestly, the guy is cool as shit, okay? I would have to say, out of all three of the Jurassic Park actors that were there, he was by far the most personable. Like, he was volunteering, hey, here's some behind-the-scenes stories. Hey, this is the things that we were doing. Even at their panel, like, he was... now, either... excuse me. Either he was just taking up all the light and sucking up all the air, or the other two actors didn't really have a lot to say or didn't really want to be there. I don't know the deal. Ariana had apparently done some Comic-Cons in the UK. This was her first American appearance. This was BD's first appearance, from what I understand. And this was Mazzello's. And so he was taking a lot of time with his people. And all of us in line weren't necessarily complaining, right? Like, we were all just like, yeah, wow, he's definitely talking a lot. We love the fact that he's being super personable. And, of course, then we all are sharing stories about worst actors, best actors, etc. But I look at my watch and I'm like, okay, I got here at noon. I'd already got Jane's and Judge's because I thought they'd be very quick. Boom, boom, boom. They weren't. I walked into Judge's line. As soon as I get in line, two people move, and then he takes a 10-minute break. As soon as I get in Jane's line, he's sitting there for a few minutes, and he's kind of taking his time. People in his line are unprepared. They're jerking off, whatever the deal is. So by the time I got to Ariana's line, and her line was pretty much dead the whole show on Saturday. She had a couple spurts of being busy, but her line was not packed the whole way, which is really weird to me. Either part of it, I think, is too because she was moving people very quickly because she wasn't very talkative. So I get in Ariana's line, and I try to ask her, like, what's the weirdest thing you saw? No, didn't have anything weird. I'm like, saw online that, you guys weren't told about the raptors in the kitchen scene because they wanted a very natural reaction. No, they told us everything. I don't know where they came up with that. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. Like, she was nice, and she does really good artwork. She actually has She has a private like art gallery studio, whatever, and she takes commissions. She has some really beautiful artwork. Super talented when it comes to art. Like, do not get me wrong. And again, very nice person, just not super like, I don't know, not super talkative, I guess. So I get out of Ariana's line, get into Mazzello's, and I look at my watch and I'm like, dude, it's already 2:45, and there had to be at least 30. Well, I was number 19 by the time they handed out slips. So, and there were probably, about 30 people still in front of me. So, I'm talking to the guy next to me. I'm like, dude, I was like, they're going to start the panel at 3. Like, he's going to leave here soon. And at his pace, we're not getting through everyone. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, they are doing the panel. About 3:05, Mazzello finally leaves. But one of the line handlers is like, look, I'm going to give everybody numbers. When the panel's done, he's going to stop and get some food, come back. Come right back to the line. We're going to let all the people numbers in first, and then we'll let everybody behind you. So all of us were like, okay, if you can make that happen, we're good. This will be sweet. We'll get back. Boom, boom, boom. We got numbers. We're good. Okay. So 3 o'clock, 3:05 hits. He leaves for the panel. Comes back from the panel, and he was like late by almost half an hour. We're like, dude, he's got to start the photo ops at 4 o'clock. The Jurassic Park crew go from 4 till almost 6 p.m. doing photo ops. Now, the show closes at 7, and mind you, I've kind of doinked around the show a little bit. I'm starting to sweat, right? And I'm a professional con guy, I feel. Like, I know better. I know I should have showed up when the con opened. I know that I should have went right to BD Wong's line, or right to Joe Mazzello's, and right to Ariana's to get their Jurassic Park autographs, because that's what I really wanted to be there for. But I didn't do that. You know, I was a dumbass. So I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, okay, they do the panel. I go sit in the panel. The panel was okay. Everybody had a question for Joe, or they had a question for Ariana, a few questions for BD, but it wasn't super insightful. It wasn't like a lot of cool behind-the-scenes stories. Like, and I mean, granted, this movie came out in 91, so it's 40 years old, 44 years old. Like it's an older movie already. So I guess granted, like, you're not gonna have a lot of like, hey, I remember this just happened yesterday, but the panel was just kind of like, it didn't have a super good flow to it. But Joe was really good. I mean, he definitely tried to annotate with a lot of cool stories, and everybody was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful for you. You suggested my career. You know, you inspired me for this career, and you inspired me for that. And I always felt that was kind of, I don't know, meh. Like, maybe because I don't realize what inspired me for my careers. I had no inspiration. I don't need someone else telling me what to think, what to do, who to be. I find a path of things I like to do that I'm good at, and I go for it. I don't need inspiration. I just need somebody to leave me the fuck alone and give me the access to the tools that I need. I don't know. So the panel was okay. I mean, it wasn't great by any means, and it lasted about, like I said, it started a little short. I think it lasted till just a little bit after 3:30. So right after the panel, we run back to Joe's line. We get back in Joe's line. Joe's being super talkative, super nice. Great guy. Again, I'm not knocking anybody that talks to their fans. But 3:35, I'm like, damn, they gotta go do photo ops now. So the lady's like, look, I know who's in line with numbers already. She's like, I've added up a couple new ones. Keep your number, come back. And he only got through, like I said, I was number 19 when we left the first time. So I was number 18. I was 18 when we left the first time. I came back, and we didn't move but maybe 7 people in 20 minutes, which at a con, that is forever. So they start doing their photo ops. My photo op wasn't scheduled till 5:35, so I'm like, I'm gonna walk the floor. So I walk the floor. In the middle of walking the floor, I noticed something very interesting. I was like, why has this guy got a bunch of Mallrats stuff on his table? And I look at him, and he's not very recognizable. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? It's TS from Mallrats. It was London. I looked at him like 3 times, like, that's not him. And I was like, okay, I guess it is. His son was hanging out with him. And he's like, can I help you, bud? And I'm like, be back. I walked around the corner, and I was like, no, it can't be. Walk back, look at him, I was like, that's him. I was like, bro, you have no idea how much I love Mallrats. Like, this is my favorite movie. I've got it Blu-ray, DVD, collector's edition, da-da-da-da. So we're talking Mallrats for a few minutes. And one of the things I asked him was like, hey, like, so I was like, you guys definitely like seem like a bunch of stoners, whatever. It's kind of a stoner flick. I was like, at the same token, like, were you guys, off stage, off camera, just as like kind of hilarious, jacked up, screwing around as you were on camera? And he's like, dude, I'll be honest with you. He's like, we were all dog tired. He's like, we rehearsed that movie like 3 weeks straight before we started filming. He's like, so by the time we started doing filming, he's like, we didn't have, the jokes were no longer funny to us. They were just programmatic. He said we actually shot in a real mall. He's like, it wasn't some kind of stage. He's like, we rented a mall. We could only do it from the time the mall was closed till they were opening. He's like, so we got there just after 8 o'clock at night when the mall closed, had to set everything up, get everything situated, shoot our scenes, and everything cleaned up, picked up, and out of there before 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. when the mall walkers came. He's like, so we'd work and shoot all night long. He said it was draining, but he's like, he had fun. He loved the crew. He's like, but it just wasn't as fun as you would have probably thought another scene would have been because, how they had to film it. Then I asked him, like, are we going to see Mallrats 2? And he's like, he was very hesitant. He's like, okay, listen, Universal has the rights. He's like, the script is done. The movie's basically ready to shoot. He's like, Universal has the rights. They don't want to release it. He's like, and from my understanding, Kevin Smith is trying to get the rights back, but money. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Kind of like how they did with Dogma. So whether or not we'll see a Mallrats 2 is yet to ever be known. But my boy TS autographed it and said, don't you ever get rid of that nipple. If you've ever seen Mallrats, you understand that when they get booted out of, when TS and Brody, your boys here, TS and Brody, they get booted out of the mall, the fancy mall, by security for ruining the dating show that TS's ex-girlfriend's dad runs. They go to the Ghetto Dirt Mall where they meet a lady with a fortune teller with 3 nipples, and they try to get TS's palm read and get his fortune read. And funny enough, TS hated the idea of meeting a fortune teller, let alone one with 3 nipples. He was actually more incited by the fortune teller and bought into it than Brody was, and Brody was just stuck on the fact that the chick had 3 nipples. So he said, don't ever get rid of the nipple. The guy is awesome. That photo is going up with my comic book men, and I have an autographed copy of the Mallrats companion that I won from Kevin Smith's Whatnot. I'm actually going to send this in because this is signed by Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. I think I'm going to send this over to JSA and have JSA, authenticate it. It's going to get a really crap grade. I mean, it's got the living hell beat out of it. That actually, I can't tell if that's actually design or that looks like wear. So it's definitely going to get a bad grade, probably like an 8. But I'm going to have this probably graded and have that put up next to my boy TS. And if I ever make it back home and convince my ex-wife, I'm 99% positive I've got Brody's autograph on I got Dante's autograph on a photo or something from Mallrats that is sitting in my basement. Okay, so that's what I did in between everything. Then it was time for 5:45 to get my photo op done. So I ran, got in line, and check it out. I did the full cast, or at least the cast that was there, in front of the Jurassic Park Jeep Wrangler. Check out BD's shoes, by the way. Dude's a trip. They ended up taking this photo twice because Mazzello was actually telling me a story while we were actually doing the photo op. He's like, bro, I love your Nintendo shirt. He's like, I didn't tell you guys during the panel. He's like, but Spielberg bought me a Super Nintendo, man. He's like, that's how I got my first Super Nintendo. I was like, dude, that is a great story. So by the time I got to see him and do his autograph, he's like, oh yeah, the Super Nintendo story. So he told me the whole story. Basically, it was his birthday while they were on set filming. Steven Spielberg sent somebody out. He bought him a Super Nintendo, 9 games, and his favorite game is Super Mario Kart, and he almost got to the world record. He was in like the top 10 because he just kept trying for it. But yeah, that's the type of shit Mazzello would do. He'd just tell you these really cool stories about himself, the behind the scenes. Phenomenal fucking guy. So got that photo, got back in line. So now I'm at the third time in Mazzello's line, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, it's ticking. Like, they got back fairly quick. He got back almost exactly at 6 o'clock. The show closed at 7. Mind you, I still need B.D. Wong's autograph. Like, he is why I came here. Joe's taking his time. And now being the professional comic goer that I am, and everybody being super cool at the con, because this could have caused a little bit of a problem, but they would... couple VIPs that have weekend VIP passes waited till last minute to get their autograph. So they're trying to cut the last people in line. We're like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? 3 dudes jump in VIP line. One guy cuts in, like, this chick goes in front of the lady that we were talking to the whole time. Or after the lady. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So this next dude rolls up and he starts walking up like he's going to cut in front of everybody. I'm like, that's cute. Zipper! Pull in. He's like, nope, one VIP went. I'm going now. So I dipped in front of him so I could get through that line. Took a couple extra minutes, got through, talked to Mazzello, and again, we had a really cool conversation. He told me some of the cool stories. And then I grabbed Dusty Dusty wanted his autograph. So, we got that autograph for Dusty. I got my poster autographed, and then moved on to B.D. Wong. B.D. Wong, again, super cool, very professional, very, like, kind of just, like, man of few words. I mean, he was very friendly. Super, super cool. And one of the things he said during this panel was that he felt very bitter about his character in Jurassic Park. He said because they were told by Spielberg to read the novel before they did the shooting. So BD read the novel. He was like, oh man, I got this really big part, and I read the part in front of Spielberg, and I got it. He's like, and then when it came to the movie, he was cut down to that much of a scene, right? So he's like, I'm kind of bitter about that because there's such a big character you could explore. But he was really happy to be brought back later on and to kind of be the villain and then to help save the day. And like, so he has a really good fondness for the Jurassic Park franchise and his character. And then, of course, everyone talked about all of his other characters, you know, the fact that he was in SVU, Law & Order, Gotham, all these other characters. And I was like, you know what would be really cool? If I can get into BD's line and get BD's autograph, I'm going to grab me a Gotham photo to add to my Gotham Batman collection back there. And then I'm going to get my poster signed by BD. So BD signed my poster. And then on my Dr. Hugo Strange, or Professor Hugo Strange, he signed BD Wong, XOXO, and Professor Hugo Strange. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, normally I would ask these guys did they get to keep anything, but somebody asked that during the panel, and they said, no, nobody took anything home from Jurassic Park, except for their backs of their chairs that had their names on it. So they all kept those, which is actually, I never thought about that. That's a cool-ass souvenir, I would think. So I didn't ask him that. I was just like, have you ever walked up to someone and just pretended, screw it, I'm a psychologist. I played one on TV. He's like, oh, no, I would never get myself in trouble. But dude is cool, man, and he prides himself on being a method actor, and he's a good actor. He's a cool guy. He spent time with all the guests, having a good conversation with them. He kept it, short and sweet. Just kind of like, cool, I can answer some questions, we can talk, we can be friendly, but okay, I got a big line. All three Jurassic Park actors. Now, the con closed at 7. Everybody was packed up and gone, except for B.D. Wong, Ariana, Mazzello, and Thomas Jane, and the JSA guys. So JSA crew were there. They waited till the last minute. The Jurassic Park guys were phenomenal. Chris Judge, cool dude. My boy TS, great guy. Like I said, Jane, I didn't have a problem with him. I thought it was kind of cool. The fact that he said he likes to sign weapons really highly had me considering taking my slide in. Had I not gotten a little stupid today, I would have considered driving back tomorrow with one of my AR mags and having him sign in an AR mag and doing a display with the mag next to this and having his autograph on the mag. I picked this one, by the way, because of course he's carrying an AR with a underbarrel. And it's got the Punisher logo, and it's just got that psychotic look. He had one where he had the bow, and I thought that bow was actually a really good scene in the movie as well, but this one's kind of more just the motif of my personal collection. So, yeah, I mean, that's my review of, or at least that's what had happened today. What had happened today, my adventure at Spookala. I would like to have seen it have maybe more horror vendors, a little bit more selection of different items. Because, I mean, there's so much things. Masks and costumes and, like, custom dioramas. There's so much other vendors could have there. I really didn't see a lot of people shopping, but granted, I was pretty much in line the entire time I was there from noon till 7. But all the other people there were super cool. I was talking to a guy and a lady behind me in Joseph's line, and I think he theme park hops. He used to work for Disney at the theme parks, and he works for Universal. From what I could tell of the things he was saying, really cool. Him and his wife do a lot of the cons, so we were sharing a lot of cool con experiences and stuff like that. And of course, it has its usual convention crowd. Like, definitely a lot of really good and creepy and freaky horror cosplayers. A couple of them you couldn't figure out who the hell they were. So you had a lot of, like, really, like, psychopaths, and then you had a lot of chicks that were, like, obviously, like, they're into the whole horror slasher. You know, Hope talking to you. People that know Kristen, that are into the genres that were there for, like, the actual horror people, not just regular main media. But I think Spookala, I've seen their lineups over the last couple years. They have a phenomenal connection with, it was Bearded Browncoats is the comic shop or comic company that was sponsoring all the headliners. And these guys have connections and obviously deep pockets. Because, I mean, they pulled in some pretty solid talent. Every year they always do. So I'm looking forward to the next Spookala. I'm going to the next one. And, yeah, they throw a good show. The stage, they normally have rockers up there, like, doing, like, rock music. So when basically the show floor emptied, everybody stayed for the free music. And they just had bands up there playing. And one guy, Posey, was there rocking out on stage. So they had a nice little, rock going on, rock station or whatever the hell you want to call it, rock show happening in the middle of this convention. And that made it a little bit hard to hear because once it got to a point where, like, there was no other crowd and everyone was just waiting to talk to the last handful of celebrities, it made it hard to talk to the celebrities because it was, like, hard to hear over the music. But great show. I absolutely love Spookala. I like the people that I meet there. I'm looking forward to going to another one. And like I said, they serve beer. I grabbed me a beer for lunch and had that while I was, drank my beer and listened to the panel for Jurassic Park. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to cut this video. Hopefully you saw my last one. Tomorrow is Lou Ferrigno and Newport Richie. I'm not going. Again, I got a little... Oh, hold on. I want to go back to something. Chris Judge. So, I'm not knocking Chris Judge. He's absolutely worth it. I paid the money for it because it's worth it to me. Autographs were listed at $70 on the website. Got to the table. For the autographed 8x10 photos, they're $70. If you brought an item, so steelbook, game, movie, whatever, it was $90. $30 for the quote. I counted up the total. I should have been at like $220 for his bill. Oh, and then I did the selfie, which was another $30. So the bill should have been $90, $180 plus $60, $240. Should have been $240. And they gave me both autographs, the selfie and the quote for $200. So I'm not, again, look, these guys, they're not being greedy. He's charging what he's worth, right? He also had you could have a voicemail recorded for $250. He would do a FaceTime and or voice call to a friend for $500, and it was like a 30-second call. Again, the guy knows what he's worth. Huge actor in Stargate. He is the voice of the current Kratos. I'm not complaining. I'm not mad about it. I paid that money without a doubt. And the best part was knowing your worth, knowing what you're going to charge, make sure your crowd can pay it. He took square, so he had a square reader set up. They took plastic. I just threw the shit on the plastic. That's why I had some extra money left over for some extra autographs I wasn't intending on buying and getting. Because basically that freed up all the cash. Like, I knew to hit the ATM. I had my budget. And then I went over budget because I was like, I'm going to take more. You always find something or someone that you want signed, or you'll catch a hiccup where someone's going to want more money for, something at the table. And I had enough cash to cover everything that I was scheduled for, right? So my 3 Jurassic Park autographs on my poster, Joey's autograph, and then my Thomas Jane and my Judge autograph. And then when I saw the updated prices, I'm like, well, the extra money I brought, I could put towards this. And then I saw the guy took credit card. I was like, this is a MasterCard problem, okay? Like, I'll put this shit on MasterCard. I'll take the rest of the cash and I'll use it to pay the card off later. But then I found a bunch of stuff and I bought more stuff. So, with that is my pro tip I have 2 pro tips for anybody doing... I have 2 pro tips and a complaint for anybody doing conventions. 1, never, ever, ever underestimate the crowd. Always show up before the crowd open, or before the doors open. Get in line first, and if there's someone you want to see, you see them first. Don't be the rookie. Don't do the dumb shit mistake, okay? So, tip number 1, show up early. Go right to the person you absolutely want to see first, because you don't know how long they're going to talk to the crowd and how many people beat you through the door. Pro tip number 2, set your budget and then take more. Okay? Set your budget, know exactly how much you need for what you're going to do, and then take extra because you never know who you're going to run into at the show. And then my complaint is, if you have a 4-day or you have a 3-day VIP pass, don't wait till the last minute to jump in front of the people that only bought 1 day. Okay, don't be that asshole. Okay, I'm talking to you 4 clowns that were in the 2 Jurassic Park lines at the end of the day. Don't be that asshole. All right. Thanks, guys. As always, like, subscribe, follow. Let me know if you have questions. I'll tell you more about the panel. There were some things said at the panel that I didn't talk about. But yeah, this video is long enough, and now you got to see all my cool stuff. I will have photos of the Jurassic Park poster once I get it in into a frame. Part of me says go to Michael's and just buy the frame because I've got gift cards because they are kissing my ass for a change. And part of me says just buy the lighted light box that it's going to move into its permanent home because that's what you want to do. So I'll probably buy the lighted box, get it here from Amazon, and then I'll take photos, share it up on Instagram, Facebook. So make sure you are checking us out and following us there. And then any photos that I have from the show, selfies, etc., I'm going to dump onto Instagram, Facebook. You guys can check them out there. Thanks. Catch you next video.